Hi, welcome to week 2 of Awaken Living. My name is Angela, and I have created this course of just accumulation of everything that I have come to understand in my own journey, and I put it together to share with you. And so this week, we will be talking about consciousness and what it is and how yeah, it plays a role in our everyday lives. And so I just want to take a second and take a few deep breaths to start this call in and this meeting in. And let's just, really set the intention of expanding our consciousness and journeying together. And so just close your eyes, nothing big, nothing, you don't have to close your eyes if you're not in a place where you're not able to. Breathe in peace. Exhale control. Breathe in expansion. Breathe out fear. Breathe in love. Exhale separation. This week, we will be discussing consciousness, and consciousness as a whole is everything. You know, s- hmm, Consciousness is the awareness of who we are, of the understanding of when source had understanding and consciousness that it was itself. It created other aspects, it burst into other aspects so that it could create more and experience more of itself and unique forms and unique perspectives. And essentially, that is what we are, is source focused into those forms, experiencing ourselves. And consciousness is, it is not something that you find, it's something that you remember and discover that is just guiding. And when you bring your awareness into creating from a conscious place, you will notice that your reality, it almost seems malleable. But a lot of times, often in the current times, humanity and humans as a whole are pulling from lower unconscious places and pulling that into their vortex in a sense, by saying that, well, I have to do this, or I'm just so sick and tired, and how you are speaking out and governing over your body when you're speaking, when you're thinking, you're telling it what it is. And so when you say that it is sick and it is tired, how can it behave any other way other than the way that the manual is instructed for it to be written? Is, the body is an extension of our consciousness, and it responds as such. And so really, when you start creating from a place of consciousness and becoming responsible for all of your energy all of the time, you will notice that the way that you speak, the way that you think, it all begins to shift. And it's not an overnight thing. It is something that having the intention of bringing the awareness to it, you will begin to catch yourself. And don't bring shame to yourself in those moments. Bring understanding and compassion and, oh, I caught myself. And like, yes, it didn't fit the, like, I'm realizing, and turning it and treating it as such, as it's doing you a favor. And so truly not making it a negative thing whenever we do catch ourselves, but also whenever you do are finding that you're catching yourself, you'll see that it'll become fewer and far between whenever those things are coming to mind or are coming out of your mouth. And just naturally it will just, go. And that is creating, from a conscious place, is truly just bringing awareness and intention and being responsible for all of your energy and all of the time, because we are conscious beings. We are energetic beings with consciousness, and consciousness is, I once was in a part of a community where it was master class level, and it was said there, and it's something that truly did help me and stuck with me. It's something that I use in my daily life as well, still to this day. And it is, consciousness is just truly the answer for everything. When there is somebody who you see who's angry and you're thinking, gosh, what a terrible, awful person they must be. That is coming from an unconscious place, but bringing consciousness into the situation and awareness to the situation, you can see that that person is creating from a lower place. And what is the way to resolve anything that is in front of us, truly I believe, is consciousness. The answer to everything is consciousness, and bringing, not responding because somebody is behaving a certain way, or reacting, but rather responding from a place of consciousness, from a place of being in your power, and not creating the illusion of somebody else having your power or power over you, and truly just knowing who you are in that moment and bringing awareness into you. That is consciousness. That is bringing consciousness into, and awareness into the situation. And from there you can decide, this doesn't feel good. This puzzle piece doesn't go to this puzzle anymore. Time, and you can shift and again respond from there instead of reacting. And, truly in that same way of being able to bring consciousness and awareness to situations when it seems like it is on the outside of us, going inward and realizing, like I had said last week, it would be very easy to drop down into shame and guilt, to know that we had the choice and the power was within us all along. And looking back at some of the parts of the journey and understanding, like, or thinking, why did I do this? I would have done it so differently. Oh gosh, the horror, the shame, instead of bringing, it would be very easy to go that route. But when you bring consciousness into it, you are aware of the entirety of the journey. It is not the destination, and understanding how all of the pieces truly are fitting together. And the next perfect step comes from the unfolding of the journey, of, as you're pulling from these vibrational, like, experiences, and you're creating it in your vortex. It's almost like you're pulling this material and this material, and you're creating that. You're building that path for yourself as you're taking it. And so being aware of where you're pulling from is truly important. But whenever we go back and we reflect on how, well, maybe I should have used different material, and you're able to look back and see that it is just the most perfect path when you look over your shoulder and see how everything came together in just the most divine, synchronistic, beautiful way. And you could have used other material, yes, but you would have missed out on some of the experiences that you had. And maybe imagine if there was a stack of wood and there's 15 stacks or pieces of wood in this stack. Number 12 is a brick of gold. It's not wood. And you don't know that because you can't see from the side view. You can only see what's up top. And so knowing that you're feeling that, well, I want to use this color, from this stack over here. I don't want to use all this one, but knowing that if you pull from this one and then you're guided to pull from this one and then this one, but then, this one isn't really interesting for you, but as you work your way, you may not even be aware of this one, but as you work your way back, you discover that the stack back here. And so understanding that even if they weren't big events or didn't play big roles in your life, that they might just have been guiding you to that special stack back here. And then when you get, to here, you have 3 bricks or 3 wooden planks, already creating your bridge and your pathway. And so you pull from this, and in just in following the intuition, you didn't pick from here because you saw the gold, but you picked from here because you were led here, and understanding and appreciating that it might have taken a little longer, but you got there, and there was just enough for you to end on that golden, that for that golden brick to be your last piece, until you carry on to the next one. And that might have been an analogy that might have been a little challenging to follow. Sorry, but it's just the essence of not being able to see, but to know, and because to trust because you do know, and truly, it's almost like it's not even trusting anymore. Once you are in your knowing, it just is, and so really. Allowing yourself to experience the beautiful pieces of this, even if you didn't understand it in the moment, even if it seemed like you were kind of getting, bumped here and, like shuffle, no, go over there. And, it just led you exactly where you needed to be in this moment. And being here, taking this course means that you have had the question of who am I and what is there and what is the meaning of all of this. And so if you're asking that, like it's just you're here, and your awareness and consciousness is ready for the lights to just fully be turned on. And so I'm excited. And knowing that we are source focused into form here, having a unique experience, experiencing ourselves in unique perspectives. Because source is all that is. Every experience we have, God is in it, God is it. Everything every part of creation, every thought, every hair on our head. And knowing that we can also look back at that path and know that every person that might have been a bumper for us to get where we were ultimately being guided to, knowing that every bumper, every big and little interaction is truly just us experiencing God in another way. And so bringing awareness that, they don't, that they may be, somebody may be down because they are not aware of the light inside of them, of the choice that they have. And that is okay for them to be, that's the experience that they're creating. It's not for us to judge or to try to control, but to just hold space and just shine our light and be a beacon so that it's like a lighthouse doing what a lighthouse does. It says, hey, there's land over here. There's, home here. And so letting your light shine and even just bringing awareness that there is love and peace and understanding in the world, and that is what's growing. And so holding love for yourself so that you can hold love for others. Because imagine trying to, if I said I was thirsty and I bring my cup to you, but your cup is empty and you just try to, there's nothing is going to happen. Even if you really wanted to give me a drink, even if you're just like your whole heart, you would give me the shirt off your back if you could, but you don't have anything to drink. And in that same sense of, if you're not able to love yourself, to love all the parts of yourself and all the parts of your journey and all of the materials used in your journey to bring you and to help build this pathway that has brought you into this very moment. That is truly just being able to find gratitude for all of the pieces, and all unconditional love is what God has for us. And unconditional love is such a powerful word. And truly, maybe even going and reading the definition of it might be helpful in just truly understanding that you're unconditionally loved by God, by the angels, by your loved ones and spirit, because they have complete understanding of who we are and what we're doing here. And they see us building this pathway, and they see us thinking, oh, like maybe hitting our thumb with a hammer because we're rushing, or because we're getting frustrated, or because we're taking our focus off, but they're there and they can see how it is all coming together. And so they hold us in unconditional love and unconditional, they don't hold us in judgment for, maybe that rush, or maybe using the wrong color, the wrong materials, the wrong color wood, any of that. They're not judging us for any of it. We're unconditionally loved and supported because every part of our journey is perfect for us. And knowing that if you experienced it, it was meant for you. You will not experience what's not meant for you. And so truly understanding that as well brings peace and to the situation, and knowing that if this is meant for me, where can I expand in my life and this and it's not happening to me, it is happening for me, and understanding that it is you cannot experience what you're not the vibration of. And I believe I had said that last week as well. And you'll hear me say that quite often. But if you're pulling from a place of lack and you're unconditionally supported and loved, meaning that there's no judgment. But if you choose to create from a place of lack, a place of suffering, you will be supported, and that will that that is what you're calling to yourself in order perhaps maybe to say you haven't experienced the uncomfortableness enough to say, nope, this isn't for me, or this isn't what I prefer, and begin making drawing from different experiences and different vibrations. And so maybe it's because it's, just enough to get you and to the next step and to say, this isn't for me. But understanding that, I apologize, it all does come together. And so, um, you are going to, you'll notice as well as saying, people like thinking that manifestation and manifesting is writing something down on a piece of paper and just being like, well, I did the ritual. I did whatever so and so said too. And knowing, and then you see that something doesn't happen, or maybe you see people who you're like, God, that person's so lucky, and I just don't understand how they're always so lucky. But it could be that that is just something that they came to experience was that particular scenario going in their favor, or perhaps it is that they are holding the vibration of when they are creating, they're not creating it from a place of, oh, I wish I could. They're pulling it from a place, oh, I know I am. And I know that this is for me because I was drawn to it. And maybe not that exact thing going through their head, but understanding that it is, you get more of what you are, not of what you want. And so if you're pulling from places of lack, you're going to experience lack. If you're pulling from places of knowing, being who you are and in your power of, and it's not a power of ruling, it's a power of, I am creating this for myself to experience, and knowing that I'm drawing things to me. And that is, I'm drawing people and love, and I'm drawing experiences to myself and courses to myself so that I can expand, so that I can experience more of myself internally, of the universe showing me and reflecting more to me than I've ever seen. And knowing, again, we're just pulling from the vortex, the different vibrations into our vortex, and being really mindful of the way that we talk, the way that we think, the way, and are we judging a situation? Is our first thing when something happens is, oh God. Or when you walk up to somebody or you walk in a room and you might notice that they have their brows kind of pulled together, or just a concerned look on their face. And your first question is, what's wrong? Instead of saying something in the sense of like, hey, is something, on your mind, or is there something that you would like to talk about? But assuming and that something must be wrong, or something must be, and judging it as wrong, and not right, instead of, again, it being exactly what that person needs to experience in that moment to bring them to their next perfect step. Perhaps it's a bumper scenario, they got you back to your stack of wood over here, all of the other wood that was just kind of like, well, that's cool, well, that's cool. And it just kept taking you a little further, we'll call those bumpers. And so just bumping you along the way to get where you needed to go. And perhaps, they're experiencing a bumper now, but in their level of creation and awareness, they're not able to see it as that. And so for them, it may be bigger and it may seem bigger. And you're always, if you are feeling like led to have the conversation, that conversation may be what expands their consciousness into looking at it from a different perspective. I find that what seems like a normal conversation to me is typically very altering for others, and their understanding perception and different scenarios and different situations at hand. And I just say that in a sense of, in the way that, because I do embody everything. To know this is truly to live it, in my opinion, and my experience and my belief is that to know this, how can I not? Just it's just a part of everything, and just in the full embodiment. I don't know another word that's coming to mind in the moment. And so lost my train of thought there for a second. Resonance and alignment. And so let's talk about and yes, that's a good, looking at my notes. The more that the way that earlier I had talked about, you will notice that your mind begins to, and your thoughts, your words begin to shift as your awareness, as you set the intention and action behind, bringing awareness into how you're speaking about yourself, to others, and about others, about situations, and just your perception of things. And when you really do try to begin to shift that, you'll also, and how it will become less and less of a thing that you are catching yourself doing. You will also notice that the people around you may begin to shift. The environments that maybe were entertaining at some point may not be as fulfilling to you now. And it's funny. There's people, places, and things. And so you will notice that the people, the places, and the things all truly do shift to go grow with you. And in that sense of, you're not able to experience what you're not the vibration of. It's not to say that the instant may not be there, the action may not be there, but you're not going to perceive it the same way that they're perceiving it. And you're, when you're elevated in your consciousness and your vibration and your perception, and you're reaching for the highest and the perception available to you, and knowing that it is happening for you, and that it is, and finding the neutrality and things, if you're not able to find the love in it. And so knowing that, as perhaps it's because, you're not seeing eye to eye, perhaps it's just the differences in environments, you're not necessarily running into each other as much. Whatever the thing is, whatever the scenario is, you will find that your reality shifts with your level of consciousness. So and it's okay. It's just to let it be. It's not to name it as a bad thing, not to say that you're too good for people, or they're too good for you, or they're just not awake enough. It is simply a matter of, we're all on our journey. and they played a vital role in yours, and or you wouldn't be giving a second thought in how they move in yours and giving love and gratitude for that role in yours, however it was, whether it was a way of you learning to love yourself more. Maybe it was a way of learning of what you would and would not prefer in your reality. And, perhaps they helped you create boundaries. Perhaps they helped you create, new experiences that you just seem like once in a lifetime that came along with this person. And just really just giving the gratitude and thanks for that. And for that role in your life, and releasing it and not carrying it beyond the lesson, and allowing it, just allowing them to be in their power and be in their journey, and knowing that they are receiving guidance. Everyone is receiving guidance and messages and synchronicities within their own life that pertain to their stories, things behind the scenes that you can't see. And so you just trust that they're getting the same love and unconditional love, the same unconditional support that you are receiving, and empower them in their journey and let them have their journey. It is truly freeing for yourself. It is freeing for the other person. And, also understanding that that same way that that person has been on a part of your life and your journey, and you can hold gratitude and looking back at the ways that they had different effects on your life, and know that you also were that for them, and so, and just, and let it be peace. What I said whenever last week, your life is your biggest platform. And so love them, let that be their memory of when they think of you. They just know that, yeah, so much love and so much light. There doesn't have to be a choice of letting people go. You'll see that it just naturally does. It's just a shift that happens as you grow, and that's okay. It's just a journey, and you'll find that people who are more in alignment with you as you're growing, you'll find that you draw those into your experience as well. It's like birds of a feather flock together, on a vibrational level. That's very much true. Um, and so the same way that you wouldn't have that same understanding, perhaps, or same perception as the people who we talked about a second ago, you might notice are falling out of your reality. And it may be over a gradual time. I'm not saying like all of a sudden you're just going to wake up and these people are going to be like gone, but you'll find that different scenarios play out, however it is. And it's just something, the knowing that you're aware of, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just finding peace in that. But in the same way that you wouldn't resonate with them as much anymore, you're going to find that you resonate with the new beings, with the, who are in a vibrational match with you. You'll find that you're drawing those into your reality, and even this course, or I have, I know most of you taking this course and knowing that I've drawn you into my reality within the last few years, most of you. And in some way or another, whether we met through, our children, whether we met through somebody else, it's a vibrational, you are drawing me into your reality, and I am drawing you into mine. And so, and I think y'all are all pretty high vibe beings, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, knowing that, just watching little things like that. And when you, again, I'm telling you this so that you can be aware and you'll start noticing these things and seeing that as you apply these things to your life, it truly is, it's just like the proof is in the pudding. You will see that it's a feeling. It's not, you're not reaching a destination. You're not racing towards some finish, some big goal. It's just about ex every experience from here until the finish line. That is what we're here for. We came to have the experience and to expand through the experiences. And so, and knowing that it's just easy to live your truth. And so, um, what does living your truth mean? For me, that means being responsible for my energy and all of my energy all of the time. I don't say I have to do this or I don't want, I wish this or I blah blah blah. I understand that if I am desiring something, I know that I will draw it to me in the perfect moment, in the perfect opportunity, in the perfect way, and in the perfect time. And so it's not something that I create a desire and a lack for. I know that it is me and that it is what I'm drawing to me. And so I know that I create from a place of love. I know that I am love. I know that I am light. I know that my light shines. And this is something, again, as you embody it, your outside, you will see it begin shifting around you as your insides and you begin to align with these core vibration, these frequencies that are in alignment with your core vibration, love, creation, anything of oneness, because God, source, all that is one. Everything just sources back to God. And so anything that tells you that you're not worthy, that you are wrong or bad, or if there's anything that creates a separation, the idea of death, of being separate, then I'm no longer with, an understanding that anything that creates a separation is not of it's not of love and is not of the vibration that you hold at your core frequency. You are here to experience a beautiful life and draw beautiful experiences to yourself. You did not come into this creation to suffer, to effort, to force. You came here to experience yourself and all of the magnificent that you are, and draw from all of the beauty that you are. And this information sometimes might seem like it's confusing, or where does it come from, or where does, it comes from within. And knowing that if you're not focusing in even on where it's coming from, but if you just align with it and embody it, your world just begins to shift. And again, it's knowing who you are and being in your power and in your creative power. And so living your truth is your platform, is your biggest platform is life. And knowing that when you get out of bed in the morning and you put your feet down, you're getting on that stage and you are telling yourself and you are telling the world what it is that you want to experience, and they're going to give it to you. So I am truly, truly, truly excited to be on this consciousness journey with you. And in a sense of knowing that we're all consciousness, and knowing that we're all energetic beings with consciousness. It is how we are able to know that there is no time, there is no place that is too far for us to communicate with each other on an energetic level. And that's honestly, everything is energy. So that's the only way to communicate. But understanding that the veil, as people talk about, and the veil is getting thinner, and this and that, understanding that the veil is and simply something, it's our own forgetting. And as we lift it, that is the veil. That is the separation between that we've created the illusion of that separation between us and them as our loved ones cross into spirit and expand back into spirit. They're not crossing through, some threshold. Um, it's just that there's nothing between us and them other than the illusion. And knowing that our consciousness is still ultimately always connected to their consciousness, and that we have access to this at any moment, any time, if we choose. But it's all, and we always have the choice to choose how we create, what we create with. And knowing that that is our choice, we can, I chose. And I can see you being here are choosing to expand and connect with more energy and more consciousness and more of us, ourselves, and creating from conscious places and pulling from higher vibrational experiences to create this experience of this pathway that we're all building. And they're beautiful. They're so unique in every way. I went to a painting class, a painting with a twist thing last night with a friend, and I walked around the table at the end, and I thought, we all watched the same instructor, went through all the same steps, we all had the same paint brushes, we all had the same paint, and these paints showed up, Stella, and these paintings all were so vastly different from each other. Every part of them were so unique, but still so beautiful, and held the same essence that we all were trying to achieve in the beginning of the class. And in the beginning, you look at this picture and you're like, there's no way that mine's gonna turn out like that. Might look like a little scribble here or there. And then at the end, I have this gorgeous painting of this waterfall and these trees in the back. And it's truly amazing that, again, they all look so very different, but shared the same message, and they were each a piece of us. And that is how this journey is, we're all being given the same unconditional love and the same unconditional guidance, each fit for our own needs, but it's all there, always available to us. And so having the intention and knowing that the desire is there to, it's not a better perspective, it's just a different perspective. And understanding that, not even judging the way that you view things, as they don't judge when I ask. I remember once I was like, oh, is this a higher perspective? And they were like, no, it's just a different one. And so they're just gentle with us and the guidance and the understanding. And when you do feel the judgment, know that it is coming from a place of belief that we've been conditioned to think that we are wrong for doing certain things or certain experiences are wrong, and instead try to come from a place of understanding and compassion in that moment for yourself, for the situation, and pause and if you can find in that moment that you're able to pause and say, you don't even have to figure out how it's happening for you. But if you are just willing to just acknowledge that this might somehow be happening for you, it just creates such a difference. And so, yeah, consciousness is truly the answer to everything. It is everything. And so, anyways, I am I am going to close out today's meeting, but I did want to touch on next week we will be going over automatic writing and channeling, which automatic writing is a form of channeling. And so next week, please come with your notebooks and pen and paper of any sort. And you'll find that quiet space where you are comfortable and know that there is no judgment, let all of it, just we're here to experience it all. And so, pen paper for next week, and we will begin our writing and channeling. I'm so excited. Thanks, guys. I will see you next week, Saturday at 11. All right.